Hi there, this is Nathan Hawthorne. I'm an artist, comic creator and teacher from London, UK, and I'm here to talk about visual libraries. Now, the term visual library is used quite often in the concept art and industrial design world. It refers to the intangible collection of images held within an artist's memory, and it may consist of patterns, objects, photos, pictures, paintings, people, and loads of other things that the artist has seen and visually studied over their lifetime. Now, as students of the arts, it is imperative that you build your visual library. And here are three major reasons why you should do so. Reason number one is for communication. Now, as an artist, your job is to communicate information and ideas visually. So, if you were to design a character, what visual cues would give away their job, their past, and where they are from? For example, take a beefeater, for example. Now, once you see a person has a large fluffy black hat on, we make that connection straight away and link that visual cue to royal guards. And so if we were to see that hat appear on a character in a game, we would straight away connect that individual with the guarding of an important person or place. Now you have the option to use that visual cue within your work. It's in your visual library now. So if you're ever asked to design a character that fits that role, you can just pull on that and draw on that as inspiration for this character. Reason number two, for variety in your work. Now, it can be very easy to use the same formula to create the same sort of characters over and over and over again without realizing. And this is why it's important for you to take the time to expose yourself to different visual languages so that you can produce a large variety of designs. This keeps your work fresh and varied. It also allows you to create work which won't offend or rely too heavily on stereotypes, such as large horns on the helmets of Vikings, something that has been disproven by many historians for quite a few years now. These are the sort of details that people pick up on when they're watching your shows, reading your comic books, or playing your games. They want to know that you've done a little bit of research, that what you're presenting to them doesn't just look cool, but has some grounding in real history, even if it's a fantasy or sci-fi world. Reason number three, employability. Although there are some people who are employed because they do one thing very, very well, there are also employers in several different industries increasingly looking for employees who have a variety of skills. So, can you design cute chibi kids as well as highly detailed monstrosities? Can you both design and illustrate? Can you paint and 3D model? Can you teach both art and textiles? The more numerous your skills, the more useful you become to your employer, and therefore the more valuable you are as an employee. Now, having a breadth of knowledge, being able to work in a variety of styles, and also being able to understand the visual language of different cultures, time periods, and industries could be your key to a sustainable future in art. As a side note, this is actually one of the reasons why I don't do much fan art, much art based on existing intellectual properties. What I find is that doing fan art, rather than improving my ability to create and my creativity, it actually takes away from it. It makes me used to drawing directly on existing intellectual properties to create my own work, which is something that I don't want to avoid. There's nothing more, I don't want to use the word offensive, but there's nothing more hurtful to me than when I hear someone come up, look at one of my comics and say to me, this looks just like this, or this looks just like that. The reason is, I'm trying to create something as original as possible. Of course, nothing is truly original, but I'm trying to make something as original as possible. And if it's continuously being compared to the same thing, then all it looks like is that my work is a copy of something, or it promotes that thing more than my own. So what I want to do is draw on loads of different things, maybe practicing working in the style of another artist, or practicing doing my own characters with a certain material in the same way that an artist does, and that will help me with my learning and my art education and my development as an artist, but it won't promote their work over mine. It won't make it look like I'm just copying them. Remember, good artists still, they don't copy. And there is a place for copying. Copying is very useful. A lot of people started off their art careers or their art education by copying, but I personally have never been a massive fan of it. And although it has its place, there also needs to be time for you to create on your own, to push your own creativity and not just copy off of others. Okay, there's a massive difference in people who work, say, in animation than there is to people who work as concept artists. And although I'll go further into this in another video, one of the key things with animation is that you're able to draw the same thing in the same way over and over and over again, and in a specific style chosen by the director or by the manga which that animation is being based on. Now, when you're doing concept art, when you're designing for a new IP, you don't want to draw on what's been done in the past. Yes, you may reference it and draw on it in that way, but you don't want to copy. You want to make something fresh, something new. So this is where your visual library starts to come in. You're now drawing on about 10, 20, 30 different artists, historical references and other things to create one set of designs, rather than copying piece for piece, feature for feature, an individual design. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So once again, even though there is a place for copying and there is use in it, if you're trying to improve your visual library, improve your creativity and your uniqueness and originality, you want to steer clear of copying directly and only doing that as a means of improving your work. Now, there is a place online where you can keep a digital visual library, one that isn't based purely inside your head, and that is of course Pinterest. It's a great way to keep all the things that you've seen and that you can save, just save them all in one place and draw on them whenever you want. So down in the comments I actually have a link to my Pinterest. Now there you can see that I've organized them into different sections. So say for example I have characters, I have environments, I have vehicles, I have weapon design, and sometimes when I'm looking for an idea that's super duper fresh, really different from anything I've done before, I might go in there and have a look at what different artists are doing. And sometimes, rather than taking things directly from there, I'll see what they're doing, and I'll see that it might be from a certain culture that they're drawing on, or that they're even combining one or two cultures, and I'll go and look at those separate cultures, go right back to the source material, and we'll talk about different source materials in another video, but I'll go back there and I'll Google those or look for those on Pinterest and then draw directly from there. But Pinterest is such a great way to store and hold on to things that you've seen in your life, because after all, our memory isn't perfect. We do forget things. It's a great way just to hold on to those and always have something to draw on and to share it with others. And a lot of it's already done for you. Like I said, my boards are there already with thousands of pins saved, which people can draw on whenever they want. They can just hop onto my board, look through all the characters there, pin whatever ones they want to their own boards, and then they're there for them to use. So Pinterest is definitely something to consider when organizing your visual library and your digital visual library. Now we'll leave it at that for this video. I just wanted to share with you those main 3 reasons why feeding your visual library is such an important aspect of being an artist in any industry, and also give you a little bit more information on why that's useful and how I've used it as well. Now we have this information that I've given you just now, but wouldn't you like to know where you can find that information, that data to fill your visual library with? At some point in the future, we'll be releasing a video which will give you some of the best places to visit both online and in real life to really get your visual library going. And it's something that's not that hard at all. You can do it right now from the seat that you're sitting in. So that's all for now. Look out for our next video, and I'll see you next time.